Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games. I'm Exothermic and the date today is Saturday, June 15th, 2024. I've been doing a countdown of my favorite video games of all time through each day of the year, and coming in at number 200 is Wii Sports. To kick off the top 200, I'll be talking about one of the most sold games of all time, because it came pre-packaged with the Nintendo Wii. Wii Sports is basically a glorified tech demo to show off the motion controls of the console, but it's also a very fun game. There are 5 sports simulations you can play with the game. You have tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, and boxing. Each one uses motion controls to follow your hands for the sport. First, you have to select your Mii, which, if you haven't played with a Nintendo Wii, is your in-game avatar that you make for the whole console. A number of games reference Miis, and they're a fun thing the console has to begin with, and even the organization of them has some fun mini-games you can do. Anyways, once you've selected your Miis, you can start playing. The first game on the list is tennis. This is probably the simplest tennis game you'll ever play in your life. You do nothing to control your character movement and just swing the controller upwards to toss the ball to serve, and then swing the controller again to swing your racket. And then you keep swinging the controller to swing both players' rackets if you're the only player on your team, like we are in our recording. If you're playing a full 4-player game, you'll of course only control your Mii. One of the nice touches with tennis is that it highlights the speaker present on each Wii controller. Every time you hit the ball, you get a pretty satisfying sound effect of the ball hitting a racket from the controller in your hand. On to the second game, baseball. With baseball, one player pitches and the other bats. There's no actual fielding in the game, at least by the players, and the amount of bases advanced is just determined by how far the ball goes and how the computer fielders handle it. Batting is simple enough, you just swing the controller. Pitching is a little more interesting, as you can hold combinations of buttons to change what type of pitch you want to throw, and have a little bit of control with where the ball is going with the D-pad. Then you just swing the controller over your head and throw the ball. Baseball is played in 3 innings, making it not crazy long, and it's a fun game. I appreciate that the rest of each player's team is made up of other Miis on the console, plus generic Miis to fill in the rest. We actually got this Wii used from a friend of mine, and his Mii plus his wife's are on our teams, so that's fun to see them. The third game is bowling. This is, I think, the highlight of Wii Sports. Step your character to the left or right, then angle your shot and let it rip. The motion controls track your Wiimote through the whole throw, allowing you to even control the amount of spin you put on the ball. Wii Bowling is a ton of fun and can support large amounts of players even without tons of controllers, because you're able to pass the controllers around, so it's definitely the most true party game of the bunch. There's a bunch of onlookers, and like with baseball, you'll be able to see other Miis from the console among them, so it's fun to see their reactions to things. You can also mess with the crowd a bit by releasing the ball early and throwing it behind you, or even throwing the ball into other lanes. Despite all of the fun and nuance that the bowling game has, it's still not a true one-to-one simulation, of course. Once you find your rhythm with things, you can do the same setup every time, and throw the ball the same way every time to get the exact same results. I've bowled a perfect game from 2 rooms over before without being able to see the screen, since the controller uses the speaker to indicate when it's your turn and makes a clicking sound every time you adjust your character. However, I'd argue that repeatability is a feature of Wii Bowling and is part of what gives it so much charm. The fourth game is golf. I struggle a lot with Wii Golf. I think the motion controls struggle a lot with tracking acceleration, which makes the swing speed pretty inconsistent. There's a lot to like about golf, though. You can pick your club, angle your shot, and swing the controller as if you were holding an actual golf club. Depending on how fast and how big your swing is, it will send more force. If you swing too hard and overfill the meter, you might slice it, losing a lot of your control and aim. The aim is especially important because you can see what way the wind is blowing and how fast it is, so you can really kind of try to adjust for that with your shot. While it can be frustrating to practice a swing and have it be the same 4 times in a row, then do the same exact swing for the actual stroke and way over or undershoot it, I find the game is the most realistic simulation of the whole package. After all, it found a way to simulate wanting to throw your clubs into the fires of Mount Doom. Lastly, there's boxing. Unlike the others, you do actually need the nunchuck attachment for this one. The remote is in your dominant hand with the nunchuck in your other hand, and you simply punch with them to punch. You can try to dodge, leaning to the sides, or block by covering your face, but ultimately this is just about swinging wildly and hoping you still hit. Maybe it's me, but I've never found the controls of the boxing game especially precise, and every time I try to dodge things or block, I'm probably wasting my time. It is really fun though when you get a good uppercut or a solid kidney punch, and as long as you don't put too much ego into your fight, it's a good time every now and then. Outside of just playing the games, there's various ways to practice them with little mini games. Here I'm doing a home run derby, but there's several for each game, and they can be a lot of fun in their own right, and is how you still enjoy the game single player. If I had to rank the different sports, first would definitely be bowling, followed by baseball, then tennis, then I guess boxing, and then golf. That's not even to say that the golf game isn't fun or anything, but there are much better golf simulators even made by Nintendo. Still, if someone asked me to play Wii Sports and they wanted to play golf, I probably wouldn't turn them down. Join me tomorrow as I talk about my 199th favorite game, where I teleport through walls to shoot you in the back.